Good morning. Today is actually November the 17th. It's Tuesday morning here. I'm in Springfield, Missouri, and not exactly Jackson, Mississippi like before. I told you guys that I was going to be going to KLM. That did not happen. Just for a lot of personal reasons and things like I just did some more digging, and I chose that company was not for me. I actually chose Prime Inc. out of Springfield, Missouri, so that's where we are now. Um, I'm actually started my second day of orientation of a 4-day orientation week. So I told you guys before I had a CDL already. So kind of my reason for switching was because Prime's training program, from the point you hit orientation to the point you start driving, was like a lot shorter. And like there's all this crazy stuff you have to do, like all these hoops you have to jump through. It's a little bit more advanced than KLM's was, in the respect that there's no actual like class that you're gonna sit down in and someone's gonna be like, hey, here's a CDL manual. I'm gonna read this to you or go through this and show you this. So you kind of have to go through the material on your own in your free time, and you get taken to the DMV if you don't have a permit. That's why I recommend you get a permit before you come here and be studying the book before you're gonna show up here. It'll put you ahead of a lot of people. Out of like the 100 people that are here, maybe there's like 3 CDO holders, maybe about 20 people that have a permit, and the rest have nothing. So you got to think about the stress of one traveling from wherever you live to the school, and then when you get there, worry about not getting sent home, like not passing tests. Okay, that's a big part. Like you don't want to fail those tests, and they're not that easy. That way, you do them when you're home. You get your permit, you knock the test out of the way, and all you have to do is pay a transfer fee. And you don't have all the extra stress because you left that at home. All you have to worry about is learning how to actually drive a truck, if that makes any sense. All right, so we're gonna kind of go over my journey here from North Carolina, is where I moved to from Texas when I got out the military. Uh, so I chose to take the Greyhound bus. The reason being is because my recruiter was so awesome. I called her on a Wednesday afternoon and I asked her, is there any way she can get me into an orientation class on Monday? She said it doesn't usually happen that fast, but she called me back, submit an application. I submitted the application. I got a call back that after that early in the evening hours, around like 3, 4 o'clock, and we kind of went further into my application. And she called me back that Thursday morning and said I was good to go. And at that point, we kind of was talking about travel options for Monday, and we decided like it's too far. The bus ride you'd have to leave. Like I left on like Friday and got here on Sunday, which is crazy. Like we'll talk about the Greyhound in a minute, but I was gonna get a plane ticket, but those were like $800 last minute. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take the free ticket. I got out of the military, like the bus ride won't be that bad. Okay, but it was. So I've never rode a Greyhound bus, and that was the most craziest adventure ever. Like I've met like ex-cons, like people that were freshly released from the penitentiary, like go out of jail and get on the bus and go. You know, like I was at a McDonald's and like people were like asking for money and like they were broke, and like I ran into psychotic people like that were sitting talking to themselves or like cussing others out that weren't around, and it was an adventure. Like I don't even want to ever do that again if I don't have to. If I would have to, I will. If I don't have to, I'm going to avoid it at every and all cost. Uh, but that option's there. It's a free Greyhound ride that they give you. So if you don't have money, they'll give you money to travel here pretty much. So like they're going to pay for the ticket. One thing that was not up front that I didn't realize until about the day that I was leaving is that you have to bring $155 with you, which obviously if you don't have a CDL, which I do, but if you don't have a CDL, you still need to bring in addition to that the monies for to pay the DMV licensing fees, because they're not going to pay that for you. Which I don't know how much that costs, maybe like $60 ish. Just kind of be prepared to pay that when you get here. But besides that, like the schooling, as long as you sign a commitment, they're not going to charge you for their training, is what they call it. Which equates to about like $3,300 or something like that. Um, so you got here on the Greyhound and showed up at the terminal, at the Greyhound terminal here. Had a number to call. They came. They were prompt getting here, maybe like 15 minutes, and they were here. And they picked us up and they took us over to the Campus Inn, is where I am right now. It's their hotel. They call it the Campus Inn. Uh, it's better than what I expected it to be. To be a free hotel that pretty much is a driver factory here. You have hundreds of drivers in here and out here every week, but it's actually really clean and really nice. Uh, I have no complaints on that. Like the staff here, they have a house cleaning staff, and they are cleaning this place 24/7. Like, it smells like cleaning supplies everywhere, which is not a bad thing. I'd rather it smell like cleaning supplies than smells like, other smells that aren't as pleasant. So that's a positive note, and the support staff here is very responsive to, uh, inquiries, or something's not going right with your room, or like, you want to move somewhere else. Like, they're very responsive to that as long as your requests are reasonable. Um, so that's that. So I got here on Sunday night. They gave you a box. They gave you a box lunch pretty much for dinner, which I kind of went out and got my own food because there's like a bunch of places around here within walking distance, and they have a shuttle that runs around here constantly. So you can get anywhere you want to go. There's a Walmart like a block away, so that's not an issue either. Um, but so Monday morning, let's talk about that. It was about a 7 o'clock first call. You had to be down there. Breakfast starts getting served at 6 in their cafeteria, so they do feed you actually hot meals. They're not going to give you boxed breakfast and lunch and dinner. It's actually hot meals in a cafeteria. You get 3 meals a day, and that's paid for through the program. But so you get breakfast around like 6 if you can, and head down to the classroom at 7 a.m. So they give you a little brief of what's going to go down. Basically, 4 vents that you have to do. So drug test, get a medical evaluation, just a basic DOT physical, agility testing, and then you have to do your interview. Not in that particular order, but it'll come in that particular order. So let's talk about each one of those. Drug tests, cut and dry, man, cut and dry. It's a urinalysis. If you're not going to pass it, do not show up here. That's just stupid, because that's going to go on a DOT record that you really don't even have, but it's going to go there. They're going to put your name up there. And when you go apply somewhere else, that's going to pop up and say, hey, you failed a DOT drug test, and your odds of getting a job in the next few years are going to be slim to none. Okay? Medical, if you have any medical problems that you know of that it's just reportable, like, I suggest bringing the paperwork with you, uh, and maybe going to your primary doctor that you have there and getting signed releases or whatever to say, hey, you're good. And if you're on medicines like blood pressure medicines and stuff like that, make sure you bring those with you into the appointments, and then so you can show that you're stable on them, because you can take that medicine and drive, but you have to have been on them for a while and show that you're stable. So like they don't really mind, but they want those records from your regular doctors that prescribe those meds. So make sure you bring that, because some people are having to go back and like fax their doctors, and like this accelerated program, you only have like a small window, which is like pretty much 3 days to get that stuff in. Because if you don't get a medical card by Wednesday, like your next day is Thursday, which is the day that they want to release you from the program and send you over to the other place on Friday morning to get your permanent employee ID badge. You're going to have a tough time trying to get that, and you're going to be held over, if not sent home for certain reasons, to go back and fix your medical problems. The agility test is cut and dry, not really that hard. There's a few stations. They kind of test your range of motion and then test you lifting and carrying objects. But the lifting and carrying objects kind of goes off what division you want to go in. For me personally, I just took all the tests, and I'm approved to work their flatbed, reefer, or the tank division. The flatbed one is kind of got some people, not a lot of people, but some people, because you have to pretty much pick up an 80-pound tarp from the floor above your head, pretty much, because that's where the platform is. Even for me, I'm 6'1", like, it was still kind of up there, but it wasn't anything that I found difficult. But some people did find that difficult, and you have to climb a ladder rung, like 2 rungs 6 times. That's not hard at all. And then the final stage is an interview process, where you just basically sit down with like their quality control people, and they go back through your application and make sure, one, everything's complete, nothing's missing, all your background stuff came back good, and kind of give you almost an alibi. But a caveat to the alibi part: someone got dismissed yesterday because they did not disclose a job that they held for a period of a year. Now, that's not like an omission. That's just, you're lying at that point a whole year. Like, you didn't put it on your application. Like, come on. It is what it is. Okay. Carrying on to that. So after you do all those things, all throughout the days, like, you have to do what they call computer-based testing, which is pretty much like just doing your normal stuff, like your sexual harassment classes, your orientation classes, basic rollover classes, just things like that they want you to have an understanding of, just orient yourself to their company policies. And that's like, maybe it took like 3 to 4 hours. You just sit and listen to some videos, take some quizzes. It's not a big thing at all. It's easy. And then finally, so when you get there, after the first day, they're going to assign you a group. We had 4 groups in my class, A, B, C, and D. I got chosen to be in D group. I just goes off the roster, and D group's always going to be the people that have permits and CDLs because of the way it works out for the next day to go to the DMV. But so I got in D group because of that, and you kind of go to your stations with your groups, but everyone has a simulator time for their group. Yesterday, mine was from 8:30 p.m. until 11 o'clock p.m. So pretty late night. But today I have the first shift, which is at 1. So that's pretty good, and we'll be done about 3 o'clock. Um, it's kind of like just a truck driving simulator, which kind of teaches you the basics of upshifting, downshifting, and a little bit of backing and controlling a vehicle. Just kind of getting your muscle memory down so you can start getting to the point where you're actually looking up at the road, not looking down while you're shifting, not looking where your feet are going on the clutch. They're just trying to instill those basic fundamentals before they put you in an 80,000 pound rocket and send you down the highway with someone and have other people's lives in your hands. So I kind of find that a little bit safe, and it's a good investment, and it's not going to hurt you. It's only going to help you, definitely, if you don't know how to drive a truck. And if you think that you're going to drive a car and you just come here and just be good at it, it's not the same thing. It helps you a little bit, but it can hurt you if you keep trying to drive an 18-wheeler like you do a car. It's just not the same. So just going back to the beginning of what I talked about is the fast-paced part of this program. I kind of discussed that, hey, you should get a CDL permit before you get here. Highly advise it. Highly advise it. And I only say that because like right now I have free time. I have a CDL already though, but I have free time like from 9:30, and I don't have to go to anywhere until like another 20 minutes. And then I go down there and get my medical card. And that's going to take like 10 minutes, and then I have free time again until 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and then after 3 o'clock I'm going to be pretty much done for the day until tomorrow. Where a lot of people, they're having to plug in those holes studying to take those permit exams. So they're stressing themselves out from constantly having something to do at every second of the day. Don't let it be you if you don't have to. Okay? So you only get those few days to take that permit and get a permit by I think it's Thursday. It might be Friday. I don't know how lenient they are on that because I don't really listen to those things because it's not really applicable to me. But you got pretty much to the end of the week to get a permit, because you can't go out with a trainer without a permit. That's just a requirement. So say, hey, you get your permit. What's next? You're gonna go, because this program is what they call PSD, or Prime Student Driver. So you do your PSD program. You have to go out and do PSD road time training, which is pretty much 75 hours on the road with a trainer, about 3 weeks ish, 2 to 3 weeks, depending on you. Like that totally depends on you, your comfort level, your skill ability, and what the trainer is seeing you do. You can go out for a couple weeks. It might be a month for your PSD, but the purpose of the PSD is to prepare you to take the CDL exam. All right, to get you comfortable behind that wheel so you can go test. Missouri law, though, because you're going to be applicable to Missouri law, so this is Missouri, and you're going to get an actual Missouri license. So if you have a state license somewhere else, they're going to actually take it, if you didn't know that, and you're going to get a Missouri license, but you're going to have the opportunity after you get the Missouri CDL to go back and transfer it to your state. But so with that being said, you get your permit here, and the Missouri law is that 14 days. For 14 days, you have to be a holder of a permit before you can test for a CDL. So even if you do really good for the 75 hours that you have to do, it's not going to matter. You'll do no less than 14 days if you don't have a permit already. You should have to have a permit for at least 14 days. And then you go take your CDL exam. And then at that point, once you actually get a CDL, you'll go into what's called TNT trainer, or trainee and trainer time, TNT. That's what they call it. And then you'll go back and you put with another trainer to do 30,000 miles on the road. Now those are team miles, not just your miles. That's every dispatch mile. So you guys are going to be pretty much team driving. While you're driving, he's sleeping. While he's sleeping, you're driving. He's driving, you're sleeping, vice versa. Just circle. And he's going to be there to help you out if you need to, if you have questions. Pretty much, you guys are going to be kind of doing your together but independent things, if that makes any sense. All right. But besides that, and once you do that, you come back and you take a road test and upgrade and become what they call a Class A lead driver for them. All right, your training is complete. You can either go company or you can lease a truck. We're not going to get into all that right now. I'll make another video for that, talking about the